Hey, what's up? This is going to be a 3 chronograph, not review, just a comparison. And just off the bat, this isn't going to be saying one is better than the other. These are just the 3 that I own, and I think they'd be interesting to compare and contrast just for the heck of it, since I have them. I think you'll find some interesting similarities, probably some more interesting differences between them. So let's get into it. I wrote out some notes to help me stay focused. There's a lot to go over, so hopefully I won't stray too far. So what we got here is, this is the Ferrer Universal, if you want to see the full proper name. Chronograph Sport, it's the Bernina model, and this has like the white ceramic, off-white dial. It's actually off-white, if you can see, and the sub-registers are actually, the sub-dials are actually white. So it's nice subtle differences. So I'm glad they didn't make it completely stark white all the way through. Anyways, and this one is Seiko Prospex. Mine is the SBEC005. This also can be known under that's the JDM model. The international reference model number is SRQ029J1, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's a really nice limited edition chronograph from Seiko, and came out not too long ago. I think most of these are kind of around the same. Actually, this is surprisingly a little bit older than I thought it was going to be. This is probably the oldest, but not that old. Maybe 2 years at most. Maybe probably less than that. This one, it's been around for about as long, if I'm not mistaken, when it first came out. It just took a while for me to eventually get this one, and but all these are basically bought within the year. This one's most recent. This one came first, then that, and this one is the Sinn 103 Klassik with a K, 12. So Sinn 103 Klassik 12. It's also a limited edition for its 60th anniversary, and yeah. And this is actually a limited edition, if I'm not mentioned, for its 50th anniversary, celebrating the automatic chronographs back when Seiko made them back in the late 60s or maybe the early 70s. And this one goes back, well, some of the early pilot chronographs. And Ferrer is a micro brand. They don't really have a heritage, but they've been really making some great watches, original designs, great quality. And their colors are really fun and unique, and that's also one of their appeals. Hang on a second. Okay, sorry. So let's get into it. Let's see if I can put this in order. Let me swap these around because I had my notes written in this fashion, I believe. So we're going to go like that. And we'll take a closer look at them. But first, we'll just go over the specs. Case size for all these are 41 millimeters. The Sinn, I'll pick this up. We'll talk about this. First, the Sinn 103 over here. The thickness is 17 millimeters, but that should be including the domed, if you can see that, domed sapphire crystal on both the top and the bottom. You can see that. Hopefully, with my hand behind there, should probably make it more obvious. And it wears actually a bit thinner because the way it's not a complete slab. It's cut pretty thin in the middle here for the mid case, and then it kind of bevels in, and it's also kind of subdivided by this bezel here. And let me continue. The lug to lug is 47.5 millimeters. I gotta check, but that may not include how far these extend out here. It's not male end links, but they can only downturn so much, but it's not bad. There's still female end links. So what else we have? The inside here is Sellita. Focus. This is the Sellita SW510. And this is automatic, obviously. and it's really nicely decorated. And because it's basically an edda base, like off of 7750 more or less, it is unidirectional winding, so you will get that spin and rotor wobble. But this is such a substantial watch, and it's so well built, I don't even really notice or hear it. But it's never been an issue for me anyways. The movement has 27 joules. Sorry if I get off screen here. It has 27 joules. Power reserve is 48 hours. And this watch is limited to a total number of 600. And they sold out relatively quick at this, I think in a couple of days. And I feel lucky to have been able to pre-order one off of Watch Buys. And finally came in December 2021. It was a little bit delayed. I think it was supposed to have been like a month or two, possibly earlier, but it was well worth the wait. Water resistance on this is 200 meters, and all these are 316L stainless steel for the case material. And this does have a date complication, but I think it's so subtle and just tucked away at the 430, similar to this one here, and this one doesn't have a date. I don't think it's that bothersome, and I'm kind of glad it has it. I don't mind having a date complication. It's pretty subtle, and the rest of it, especially the way the indexes are, they're applied, which is a new thing for this model, as well as the ceramic bezel. They never did that before. And the color is actually not pure white. It's actually like an off-white. They call it chamois, or is it chamois? So it's kind of like an off-white color, which is nice. I wouldn't say it's fauxtina, not at all, but it softens it. Not so harsh, like straight black and white high contrast, but it's a nice touch. Classy. What else? The bezel is ceramic. It's not lumed, unfortunately, but that's all right. And this is a 12-click bidirectional rotating bezel. I don't know if you can hear this. It's just a nice ball bearing kind of system in there, and just clicks nicely into place, precisely. It's smooth. And what else? This is obviously made in Germany, as it says down at the bottom here. And just throw it on my 7-inch wrist just to see. So let me back this up just a little bit. Get a better idea. It doesn't normally come on this bracelet. This is an extra. This is H-link from Sinn, obviously, that I got on top of it because I'm a bracelet guy. But it does have like two straps, like a dark green. I wouldn't call it suede, but it's like a leather strap. And there's also a black kind of crocodile embossed, textured strap that has like contrast stitching. And I've never worn that one actually yet. That one seems like it needs to be broken into to feel be nicer. It's the stiffest between the two straps that it comes with, but I like the way it looks on the bracelet, but it looks good on a lot of straps actually. There's a screw down crown, 200 meters water resistant, and it's pressure resistant, and for both, like obviously for underwater as well as also low pressure, like say there's a sun decompression up like you're up high and you know your cockpit blows out or something like that. It's it'll handle that. And you don't need these for the water resistance. It doesn't help with the water resistance. It has 200 meters water resistance otherwise, but the screw down pushers do help to make sure that you don't accidentally push it while you are underwater. And what else? There is basically the AR technology is in here, so that should mean that there's argon gas in there. And when they say that, it's in their brochure, but most of the other watches that have it has like an AR somewhere on the dial, and I'm surprised it doesn't say that even on the case back, like maybe around the outside here. But since we're on the back, you can see it's nicely decorated case back, and I like that they use a dome sapphire. It kind of, I don't know, I feel like it makes it very clear and magnifies the movement, kind of adds some depth to it. Get up closer. And it does have the capsule here on the side, which can be replaced right there, and that will indicate if it turns, gradually it will turn to a blue color, and when it's blue, then you just know that it's time to change that. But that's just an indicator of how much moisture is captured in there. And it's still relatively new and looks still basically white, which is what you want to keep it at most of the time, if at all possible. And is there anything else? This has a nice glossy dial. I love the rims around the subdials. Nicely polished syringe hands. Overall really nice. And I don't know. Yeah, it's a thick watch, but most automatic watches, especially if they use some sort of lead-based caliber, will be. But you know, it's not a big deal. And some of it's like sinks into your hand, and again, some of that height is in the crystal, so you know, minus all that, it's actually visually what you pick up on, and reminded that the way it's just kind of beveled and subdivided helps to kind of minimize the signature, I think, you know, without feeling too crazy. And I think if you're used to smaller, thinner watches, and you might find that to be the case with this, it wears somewhat similarly. That's actually smaller, but we'll get to that in a moment. You just need it might be a proportion shock, but once you wear it for a while, for, you know, a little bit, you just kind of get acclimated to this proportion on your wrist. At least I think so. And it doesn't seem nearly as chunky as you might initially think it is when you first get it, or something similar. I mean, they make other 103 models, different dial configurations and whatnot, but a lot of them are more or less this proportion and thickness. So there we go. It's a nice reverse panda dial. Okay, let's move on to the Seiko, since I have that on my list here of stuff that I wrote down. So Seiko, obviously, and 41 millimeters, as I said. This is a little bit thinner than that, 16 millimeters instead of 17 at the Sinn. But that's including the box sapphire. So you think about it, this thing is at least 2 millimeters, maybe 3. Is it bottom dome? No, but there's crystal here, obviously. So, you know, that's actually, you think about the case, it's basically more like a, take out 2 or 3 millimeters. You're looking at 14, maybe 13 millimeters thick in the case. So it's not too bad, you know. And again, whatever the dome is, or this is kind of like a box sapphire crystal, most of that kind of disappears, right, once you've got it on wrist anyways. And like most Seikos, they do a nice trick with the way it's beveled and cut, and you kind of, you know, reduce the visual weight of the mid case in this fashion, and it wears very comfortably. And you can just check out the really nice Zerachi polishing, and then it does have dia or die shield to help protect it from scratches, but it is not foolproof. I'm sure you can still get scratches, which, did I get scratched there? No, but I've had a couple of Seikos that have dia shield, and eventually you do notice some scratches. So it's not impervious to getting scratches, but it does help to reduce it, which is cool. Going on, lug to lug is 47 millimeters. It does have these male end links, but it does drop down quite good. and you'll see it on my less than 7-inch wrist, so just as a reference. Inside is the 8R Seiko HR48 movements, automatic, and unlike these two, which are a vertical clutch, not vertical clutch, they're your standard ETA movement for engaging the chronograph, but this has a con-wheel chronograph, and so it's gonna be a better chronograph movement inside, though I don't think you can actually see the con wheel part of it. I think it's covered. And while you're looking at the back, you can check it out. It's got a little bit of gold on there and all that. It's got 34 joules. I didn't mention that yet. 45-hour power reserve, so it's just a little bit under that one. But you know, I don't generally need a high power reserve anyways. I mean, if I'm not wearing it, that's fine. I'm not going to be picking up anytime soon. And if I do, I'll just hand wind it if I need to again, or shake it, get it powered up, and set the time again if it's gone completely dead. Where is I going with this? But this is a limited edition of 1,000 pieces. I'm not clear exactly, is that including both international and JDM, you know, model reference number, or is that 1,000 each? I wonder if anybody would know. But anyways, they say it's 1,000, so I'll take it at being 1,000, and it's numbered that like that on the back. What else is there? This is 100 meters water resistance. There is no screw down crown, so you can just turn it right now to just wind it. There's no screw down pushers unlike that one, and so that one's probably the most durable, obviously, since you can basically dive with that. 200 meters and it's everything screwed down. This one, like that one, is also 100 meters. We'll get to. It's fine if you get it wet. I've been washing this actually. There's no worries. It says it's 100 meters water resistance. It'll be fine. I generally wash as a rule. I do like to clean my watches after work. If I'm wearing it on the weekends or something, then I know I'm not going to get too many contaminants possibly on or in throughout the watch. I won't need to wash it, but if I do wear it to work, then I usually, after I shower, or actually before, I will just take it off and get a good clean down, just to make sure I have something clean to put on after I clean myself up. And as I do it, the faucet comes down this way. I never do it crowns or pusher side up. I figure if I'm going to do it, just kind of play it a little safer, even though it's 100 meters. I'm sure it'll be fine, but why tempt fate? Just make it a little bit less prone to water intrusion. So I face these away from the direction of the water, and maybe I might move it a little bit around, but I'll never put it up right, because I don't want it to go into the spots where, you know, this is likely where they would intrude in, right? And this one I don't worry about as much, because it's pretty well built, and I'm not, you know, it's basically like a diver, so I can wash it usually all around, not an issue. Just make sure everything is screwed down. This one is similar to this. I will probably always wash it this side down, just move it around, a little bit of soap if I need to. Usually I do, like that. Anyways, going on with the watch. 316 hours stainless steel. Yes, it does have a date down here at the 4:30, just like the Sinn. I think it's nice and you know, not that too intrusive. It kind of matches. You got like these circular shape forms already, and I like the fact that they made the effort to make the date disc in there read upright instead of, you know, at an angle, as if it was just rotating around like this. They know that it's specifically going to open here, so they make sure that all the orientation that the numbers work to read it upright, just like all the numbers around the tachymeter and also the subdials. So there's a lot of consistency there, I guess. On the previous version, I guess, the Seiko Brights, I always forget the reference number, but it's a little bit larger at 42, titanium. It looks almost identical, but if you really look at it, there's a different handset, pushers, crowns, case shape is actually different. All the little, a lot of the details is different. The date disc is actually a rectangle, or the date window, and it goes at an angle too, similar to how this one is, which I don't mind, but I like the fact that they made something in more than just one way. It's quite a different ways than the previous version, so it's just not a straight rehash of the old one. But what can I say here? The bezel, well, it doesn't rotate, obviously. There is the tachymeters on the inside, and there is no like timing or 12-hour bezel or anything. What else is there? This is made in Japan, as you might be able to see right there on the bottom. Well, it doesn't say made in, but this is made in Japan. And what I like about this is super sporty. I love the kind of offset, panda configuration here. It's not just the 3, which would look nice, but I like the fact that they made this more subtle, the running seconds, and its own like radiant brushing. And the dial has this really nice vertical brushing if I'm trying to capture it. I don't know if it's coming across on the video that well. Just if I go, there you go. There you can see it. The brushing down the face. Really like that. And everything else is nicely polished. Applied indices. We'll just get this running. So I've been wearing this most recently. And yeah, you got basically you got a 60-minute counter here, and which is cool because it will actually reflect on here with the 12-hour counter. So as this is moving, this will advance too. So then you know that if you go around once, am I in the 30 or am I in the 6, or am I in the 10 or the 40-minute or so forth? You can tell because this will be either the half hour or the full hour, and then you'll know where exactly this is in relationship to that, how long you've been timing total. Has it been half an hour, or has it been an hour and a half, or 3.5 hours, so forth. So that's that, and snaps right back. What else can I say? What was just put on wrist real quick? And this did come with this bracelet. It doesn't come with any other strap options, although I have plenty of 20 mil. So yeah, I should be able to find. So I know I have some good racing straps and stuff because I have this guy, but just in general, pretty easy to match up with this. And again, at 16 mils, it's not too bad. And it wears smaller than it does, which is what you'll find with most Seikos. And I think what helps is you see the case shape, it's wider on the bottom, it's smaller on the top. So that kind of just makes it look smaller. I found that to be the case with some Zelos watches too. And I can't think of any of those off the top of my head, but that basic kind of design where this is smaller than the outside or the case generally kind of makes it look small. And the fact that you got this tachymeter here shrinks the main dial down a little. So I don't know, I really like this. It reminds me of a Maurice Lacroix that I used to have. It's actually quite different, but there are some similarities to that masterpiece chronograph that I had. And if you look through my videos and if you see some of my postings on the forums and watch groups or whatever, you probably know, you'll see the one I'm talking about. So let's move on. There's no adjustability here. Oh, these use a pin and collar. So there's like a small collar on one side of the center link, and then you tap it through and it'll hold it, keep it from slipping and so forth. That's that kind of system. it's not my favorite, but it works. And once you set it, you can forget it, because it's all good after that. This one does have a, you know, oh yeah, and obviously this has no micro adjust as well. So you either got to go with half lengths or full lengths. Luckily, I found a good combination that works for me. So keep that in mind if you are interested in something like that, on the adjustability of it. So this has a flip lock like that, and it does have a relatively useless diver extension. I don't need this kind of extension, especially on this watch, but I don't know. They've just been rehashing this general bracelet design, and just changing the end links basically to match the different watch cases. But it does have the hex screws, and it's on both sides, so you have to take two and kind of cross work them to loosen them or tighten them up, but it's very solid. Lastly, we're going to go to the fairer Bernina. This one's going to be the slimmest out of them because it's not an automatic. I'll just show you real quickly. But let's talk about this as we get into that real quick. So this is 41 millimeters as well. This is actually only 12.9 millimeters thick, so quite a lot thinner. But and it also has some tricks to make it look slimmer, because the actual mid case you can see is right there, just the way it's cut and beveled and curves. Really nice. 44 millimeters. It's also very compact, lug to lug. And then 42, they gave me these specs I found offline. If you're just counting from the actual pin to pin, oops, you know, the right here. So it's actually a little bit wider, I guess. If you count this part, it's just as far as to go down. And yes, it's kind of like male end links, but then it's so short, and this part that pivots is really high up in there. It's, you actually got some good, you know, you got something good here that you can work with on even smaller wrists. And it does come with a quick release. This is one of the newer bracelets that they just kind of made and put out. And this is an aftermarket thing. I got this after the fact. You do have the option to, when you buy one of these, to get it on several different of their leather straps. I don't think, they might have some rubber ones too, possibly. Or you can actually ask for a bracelet if they have it in stock. They didn't when I first got this, and I was, oh man, I really want to get it all at once. But, you know, I just waited, and they finally got one, and I ordered it. Going back to this uses the Sellita SW510 BH Elaborate grade, and you can see pretty nicely decorated. I don't know if these are, they didn't really say this is a limited edition, and I don't think it is, but you can spec out what's unique serial number you want to whatever is available. There's like a list of like between, I think, 1 and 500. So and you can pick whatever number is available between those numbers. And that's what I did. So I just picked out, I believe it was 228. You can see it right there. Nothing special. I mean, in terms of like, oh, don't show anybody. Well, that's what I picked out. That's mine. Yes, this is a British design, but it's Swiss made. Hang on a second. Sorry for the interruption. So, what else is there? This has a ceramic bezel. It's got this really nice white and blue accent colors. I don't know, just super unique. It's got kind of like a Flieger look too. If you look at the numerals and the handset, it's kind of like something you might see in a pilot chronograph, but they do advertise this and kind of promote this as like a motorsports theme, and I get that too. Yeah, it just hands winds like this. This does have 50-hour power reserve, so this, actually, sorry, 58 when fully hand wound. 100 meters water resistance. So this one will have the longest power reserve out of all of them. think that's enough. I will just, you can see. And yeah, so this is, you just get a closer look. You can just kind of compare. They're all 41 millimeters. Sorry, there's a glare. It's because it's directly over, the light's directly overhead. I need to work on my lighting, but let me see if I can block it a little bit. I'd say even though they're all basically the same, because this doesn't have a bezel, it's just, I think this still appears the smallest. And it has a relatively short lug to lug too, even though this one does have the shortest one. But I don't know, they all have their unique flavor. I mean, you got a reverse panda, you got a panda, but it's also kind of offset and kind of quirky like that. Silver brush dial, black gloss dial, a matte off-white dial. They're basically all three subdials as well. Swiss, well, you got Germany, you got Japan, and then you got British, but it's by Swiss. See if that help. Yeah, you get a slightly different angle. This would be better this way. What else is there? This is all white. I don't know. I think this is a pretty cool combination of chronographs. This one does have crown guards. These don't. Screw down. None of these do. What else is there? This also has an extension, but it's not. It's kind of like that. It's got basically a diver extension, which not as doesn't seem to come out extend as wide, but either way, it's kind of useless, to be honest. They should have went with like one of those fine micro adjusts that don't need tools, like, you know, you've seen like Christopher Ward, Zelos, some other brands starting to use. I think Manta is also doing something very similar to Rolex's Glide Lock. Yeah. So I guess I want to wrap this up. So I hope you enjoyed just kind of looking and comparing these. I got to do a review on all of these really soon, especially this guy, because I'm probably going to be selling it. I don't know. I really want to keep it, but there's some things I'm trying to redo in my collection, and that's a hard one. That's a hard one, but we're not going to get into today. But anyways, and then I got to do this one, and of course this. But anyways, look forward to that, and catch you in the next. Thanks for watching. Let's see if I can get a better angle before we cut out of here. We'll just go wham, bam, bam. Oh, Lume. They all Lume. Let's turn off the lights real quick. And I just need that to adjust. Let me turn down the. Let me zoom up a little bit too. These will all have kind of green Lume. This will have BGW9, it will be going blue. So let me see if I can turn off one more set of lights here. And close your eyes, I'm going to blast this. Oh, my flashlight died. Let me just. see if I can edit that last part out because I had to go take care of something. I forgot to put this on pause. But then again, just for that little end part, I don't want to really see. Well, you give you an idea of, come on, focus. See here, see. So yeah, BGW9 on the right, and the rest of it is green. Though it looks kind of bluish here, but it's not. And yeah, let me turn off the lights. That's what I was trying to do. So I guess Sinn has the best Lume. Sort of surprisingly, or maybe not. But all of them are legible, especially when you're on wrist. You might be confused by the fairer, but they chose to do like, I don't know. I think those are 2-minute increments or something. It's kind of weird. They kind of expanded it, but it gives you an idea. Just look or aim for the middle of those concentric, those little dashed lines around it, and that's your hour marks or your minute marks, depending on how you see it. So that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next.